joined by Lauren McGaughy, investigative reporter and editor for the Texas Newsroom. Lauren, welcome.
Thanks for having me, David.
First, tell us about these tunnels. How long have these been in the works?
That's right. This has been in the works really since Harvey. Local flood officials have said, we need to get more serious about this. We need to find more solutions. The devastation was terrible. And other cities in Texas and elsewhere in the world have turned to these massive flood mitigation tunnels to try to ease flooding. And so they started studying the concept.
And who's actually working on this? I always think of these large projects, Army Corps of Engineers.
That's right, yeah. So from the beginning, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been involved. They actually have purview over two of the major reservoirs in the area, and so they obviously had to be brought in. They also oftentimes end up building and partially funding through federal funds projects of this sort because they cost billions of dollars, right? And then the local flood control district, the Harris County Flood Control District, has been involved, and the Harris County commissioners, local leaders, local flood experts. It's really been a massive project.
So what? Elon Musk joined the Army Corps of Engineers? What's his connection here?
So actually, we didn't know about this. No one knew about this until we published our story today. But behind closed doors for months, we were able to find out that Elon Musk, the Boring Company, his tunneling firm, has been pitching itself to build a portion of this tunnel system. We actually found out about this story through an interesting way I'm happy to talk about more through a public record, but then we're able to kind of find layer upon layer of communications, meetings, etc., that the Boring Company had set up with local and state officials, quietly pitching this project, not in the public eye, but directly to politicians.
Is this a financial windfall for the Boring Company? Did they score a contract or what?
It would be if they did. So we were able to confirm with state and local officials that Elon Musk and the Boring Company has not received any public money yet. And if they were granted a portion of this job, it would be big for the Boring Company. They were pitching the idea as a $760 million project, with 15% of that money coming up front in the form of money from the state budget and the county budget. So, the Boring Company, it hasn't really done a public project in Texas before. Mm-hmm. And as far as we could find out, it hasn't done a water project. All of the tunnels it's built that we know of have been transportation focused.
Well, you talk about these public works projects, and when I think of the Boring Company, I think of that they wanted to build a kind of a subterranean tube of sorts in Las Vegas. Right. That was what I was thinking of. That's a pretty narrow tunnel. I know that what it would take for something like the size and scale of the project they've been talking about in Houston for a while. Those are much bigger tunnels, aren't they?
That's right. I think the issue here, we talked to flood experts, and Elon Musk's the Boring Company, their stock tunnel size is small. They pitched two 12-foot diameter tunnels for this flood project. But what the county has been studying for years are massive tunnels, 30 to 40 feet in diameter. And flood experts and politicians told us that they were worried that that would not work for their flooding problem, and that this is really just Elon Musk trying to get his foot in the door in a project, but that his solution doesn't fit the problem.
Lauren, how does the Boring Company defend these narrower tunnels?
Well, we reached out to the Boring Company. They didn't have a response for us. There were discussions about whether they could build larger tunnels. So they did reach out to local officials about potentially 20-foot tunnels, but it's unclear whether they actually have that capability. So we would actually have to see how they defend that.
Elon Musk has friends in high places, as I think we all know. What about with his project? Does he have any political support from local politicians?
Well, one of the most interesting parts of this story was that he actually had a pitch man. Elon Musk had appeared to have partnered with Congressman Wesley Hunt. He's a Republican congressman who represents parts of Houston. And Hunt's team was also pitching local and state politicians on this idea, meeting with them privately, sending emails, getting them on the phone with Elon Musk. And so he had this powerful ally and has this powerful ally in this project. We also got a comment from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, whose staff met with Hunt about the Boring Company's pitch. And Dan Patrick told us, hey, if Elon Musk can do this, I'm all for it. So he definitely has some allies in this pitch.
You report that Hunt has something to gain if Musk and the Boring Company get the go-ahead to build these tunnels. Could you say more about that?
Sure. We, talked to political scientists, and they said, look, Wesley Hunt has floated the idea that he may challenge Senator John Cornyn in the GOP primary for U.S. Senate next year. And he's a fairly new congressman. And to do that, he could use some friends in high places. Who better than someone with deep pockets like Elon Musk? So, he might have something to gain politically. Musk's Boring Company might have something to gain monetarily. But the experts are telling us Boring and the Musk's company may not be the right fit for this project.
We don't have much time left, but how close are they to breaking ground on these tunnels, and what are you watching for?
That's the big question here. There's been actually criticism of the Army Corps of Engineers for allegedly dragging its feet on finishing its own study of the tunnels. And, locals in Houston are like, what gives? It's been 8 years. Let's get the ground broken. We don't have an answer on that yet, but the discussions are still happening. It's still a very serious possibility, and we'll be watching to see how the story affects it.
Lauren McGahee, investigative reporter and editor for the Texas Newsroom. She's been covering this story with the Houston Chronicle. It's part of our monthly drill down series highlighting the investigative journalism coming from our media partners across the state. You can learn more about that series at TexasStandard.com.
Good morning, folks. I'm out on my errands this morning, getting everything done before it gets even hotter out here. It's already 90 degrees out here. It's about 10:30 p.m. I'm listening to talk radio as usual, as you all know. And what they're talking about on talk radio is the huge drainage problem, the infrastructure, old infrastructure in the city of Houston that hasn't been done in probably 100 years. And Houston is a very large city. And Houston is, again, one of the most growing cities in the nation. Houston is huge. So the problem is infrastructure in Houston has not kept up with all the concrete and stuff they're putting down. Harris County, which Houston is in, Harris County is the second biggest county in the whole nation. That's how big Harris County is. LA County is the only county that's bigger than Harris County. So Houston being about 50-something miles away from the Gulf, Houston is actually way above floodplain. That's not the issue. The issue is the drainage system in Houston is just messed up. They haven't done anything in many decades. And when Harvey came, Harvey sat over the city of Houston and Houston area for 3 days, dumping water constantly for 3 days, over 72 hours. And as usual, Houston's drainage system cannot keep up. It caused a severe flood throughout Houston. So now they're trying to fix it. It's been 8 years. 8 years since they been trying to fix the flood problem. the Corps of Engineers are garbage. The Corps of Engineers are garbage, people. I mean, we already know that. So now they put a contract out for companies to build these large tunnels in Houston to get rid of the drain problem. That's what they've done. So that's what's going on right now, and I am so glad Elon Musk, one of his companies, is bidding for the jobs. I'm so glad Elon Musk is doing it, because Elon Musk, as we all know, with Tesla, with SpaceX, he is amazing when it comes to building new technology and new things to get stuff done. So I'm hoping Elon Musk gets his contract with the city of Houston and build these new tunnels to solve the flooding problem. So now all we have to do is just wait. And I have a good feeling that Elon Musk is going to get this contract. I have a feeling that right now he has a 60% chance of getting this contract for these new large tunnels here in Houston. So I'm going to charge my car real quick at Tesla and go do my errand. You guys have a nice day.